Hi, I'm JT Shrewsbury, and you're watching Scursive. It's 4th of July weekend, and we are going to make wood-fired pizzas on an Akorn Grill. Now, for those of you that don't know, an Akorn Grill is similar to the green egg, except it's metal instead of ceramic. Before we get started, we got to make something to drink. So you're gonna need a container, whatever your favorite beverage holder is. You know, get that, fill it up with ice. Okay. We're gonna take some dark rum. It's about an ounce, or it's a shot, 2 ounces. This is going to be equally split. Some light rum. All right. I like a little banana in mine. And then we're going to do some, a lot of people call for blackberry brandy or blackberry liqueur, whichever. I'm going to swap that out for some raspberry liqueur or Chambord raspberry brandy. There we go. All right. I love this stuff. Okay, you got that in there. Now, all you need is some pineapple juice. All right. A little bit of OJ. Go. Okay. And we're going to throw some grenadine in there. There we go. And we're going to garnish with a flag. There you go. Throw your straw in there. Give it a quick stir. That's delicious. Now I'm ready. Let's get cooking. Now that we have our drink, we're set. I'm going to do this a little bit differently than I've done in the past. Some of my techniques going to be different as far as making the dough. What I'm going to do is we're going to start making the dough first. Okay, and I'll show you how to do that. And I'm going to make today is Saturday. So I'm going to make the dough today. I'm going to let it rise. It's got to rise a couple times. And I'm going to let it sit overnight. And then we're going to use the dough tomorrow. Usually what I do is I'll make the dough early in the morning. It's got to go through its rise cycle. Then you cut it into pieces, form your dough balls, and then let it rise again. And then usually later that day, a few hours later, it's ready. And I go ahead and start making the pizzas. We're going to do it different. Like I said, I'm going to do this kind of like what most, I wouldn't say most, but a lot of pizza shops do. They make it the day before. They let it sit in the refrigerator overnight for some of it. Like I said, some do. But we're going to try that this time, see how it works out. And then everybody's going to make their own individual pizzas. But we'll get into all that later. So first, I'm going to show you how to make the dough. Okay, I've already pre-measured everything, just for time's sake. I've got 3.5 cups of flour right here. I've got 2 teaspoons of salt, 2 teaspoons of sugar, 2 tablespoons of avocado oil. Now, you can use olive oil. I think most people use olive oil. But whatever oil is your choice. I just chose avocado oil because that's what I had. I also have some garlic paste here. Some garlic paste. Can you see that? Okay. Some garlic paste. And I usually just press the garlic myself, but this seems a little easier. It just seems a little easier to do the garlic paste. Just with that little garlic flavor. Now, the recipe doesn't call for that, at least my recipe doesn't, but I'm going to put it in there anyway because I want garlic in my crust. So that's why I'm doing that. Also have some pizza crust yeast. Okay, pizza crust yeast. We got a yeast packet. Going to open it somehow. Dump it in here. All right, so I've got the yeast in there. Now we need to add 1.5 cups of warm water. So there's 1 and about 1/2. Okay. Now we got to get these guys going. So what else do we need? Well, yeast needs food. Well, what does yeast eat? Yeast eats sugar. So we're gonna put some sugar in there. So we got our sugar in there. We're gonna give that a little stir. All right, we're just gonna let that set. Or sit, or whatever. We're gonna let that grow a bit so it gets foamy. Usually about 5 minutes. I'm not gonna go around and turn the cameras off for 5 minutes, but I can take another sip of my drink. I got my little helper down here, Sebastian. He likes to help. He smells the yeast. You smell something? You smell that yeast in there? He's a trained Walker Coonhound. He's always smelling stuff. He loves to smell. Smell, smell, smell. He'll goose you. Now, what a lot of people say about this yeast is that you don't need to prepare it first. You can just toss it right in. Which, yeah, you can. And I have in the past. I usually do. But today I thought I'd try something different. Some yeast, active yeast, you're supposed to do this process with. Instant yeast, you usually can just toss it right in. You can skip this process altogether. It'll save you some time. But, you know, I want to do it this way. Maybe it'll be a little easier. I don't know. I've got my flour here. I've got my salt. I'm going to go ahead and throw my salt in the flour. Okay, so we've got that. Put that in the sink. Okay, and then your oil, whichever oil you choose, olive oil or, in my case, avocado oil. Just throw that in there, like that. Done with that. Okay, I'm gonna squeeze in my garlic. Now, I'm going to go probably with a tablespoon, I would say. I don't think that'd be too much garlic, do you? No? What do you think? I have no idea. Probably 6 pizzas or more. Susan wants a lot of garlic. It smells good. And this is fresh, okay? Fresh garlic, stir-in paste, and you're supposed to be able to refrigerate it, and it's supposed to last for weeks. Fresh for weeks. I love this stuff, and I also buy garlic that's already peeled. All you gotta do is press it. I love that stuff too. And you know, what I like is, like, I'll cut it up in my salad. You know, it's just so quick. I'm getting lazy in my old age, I guess. But this stuff's delicious. And it tastes a lot better than powder. For some reason, garlic powder doesn't do it for me. It doesn't taste right. It's not the right garlicky flavor for me. So I love using fresh garlic all the time. Every time. I don't know what the rules are as far as showing brands, but I'm not gonna. I'll show what I like. Man, that's good. Rum Runner. You can see that I probably should have did the overhead cam when I was doing the Rum Runner. Little picture of it.
I'm sure you make another one.
It's got a little carrying handle in case you want to go to the beach with your Rum Runner. We came back with 10 of these from Madeira Beach. 10 of these buckets.
120 bucks.
120 bucks.
Well, we got
no,
$4 free.
2 of them were free because it was my birthday. And one was free because it was my birthday. Or no. We got it because you were wearing a Krabby shirt. So you'll probably see that in another episode. In the Madeira series. If you watch one of those videos, you'll see where we got the free. I think I was recording. I may not have been recording. But.
First round was on the boss.
Susan said first round was on the boss because she was wearing a Krabby shirt. And we got there as soon as they opened up. All right, that's starting to bubble a little bit. Just waiting for them bubbles. Now, with this stuff right here, it's okay just to hand mix it. Your dough, because you're just mixing to combine. You're not kneading, you're not making pretzels. You're mixing to combine. You're just trying to combine the ingredients. I always mix it by hand. But I got this blender right here. And I'm gonna mix it this time with this blender. I've never used this blender before. Or mixer, I guess it's called a mixer. I've never used this mixer before. It's brand new. I've got the dough hook on there. So we're gonna try that today. We're gonna try mixing with the mixer. And it should be easier to combine the ingredients. I saw it done on TV. It looked easier than the way I do it. So that's the way, I'm gonna try it today. I think it needs a few more minutes. Hope I didn't kill the yeast. Okay. And we're just kick-starting that yeast. Just a little kickstart. Get things going. See what I mean about needing to drink before you start? It's a lot of hard work. You must constantly stop and hydrate. It's a requirement. It's actually in the ingredients. Or in the instructions. Okay, I'm going to take this. There's my yeast. I'm gonna put my yeast over here. I'm just gonna leave everything right here for right now. This bowl right here, I'm gonna coat with some olive oil. And then I'll put the dough, once it's ready, into this, and I'll probably cover the top of it with olive oil as well, or avocado oil. I'm just gonna say oil from now on, so I don't have to keep going back and forth, but put your oil in there. Coat it. That makes it easier to get out once it's risen. So I'm gonna coat that with oil, cover the top of it with oil so the skin doesn't dry out or anything, and I'm gonna cover it with a damp towel. If you don't have a damp towel, which I think everybody can find a damp towel, you can also use cling wrap. Just cover the top of it with cling wrap. But I'm gonna use a damp towel. It's bubbling. It's probably good to go. I don't want it to finish completely. I just want to get it started. Let's see, where's that? Let's see on the directions. I didn't even read the directions. Not recommended for This is undissolved yeast. Probably should have just used my regular yeast instead of pizza yeast. All right, folks, I think that's good enough. So we're going to go ahead and combine this. Pour that in there. Bam! Okay. So now we're going to use the never before used blender or mixer. Never before used mixer. There. I'm going to put this in here. Whoops. I'm going to do it like this. All right. Look, it flashes to let you know. I'm just going to put it on the lowest setting. Hopefully that's not too loud. I don't want to start yelling. I don't know if the lavalier mic is picking that up or not. Okay, so the mixer's going. While the mixer's going, so we have it set. It's mixing. I'm gonna let it do its thing. If it's too dry, you just add a little more water. If it's too wet, you add a little more flour. Usually what they suggest is a tablespoon at a time. So if it's too dry, add a tablespoon of water at a time. If it's too wet, add a tablespoon of flour at a time. Sweat check. Okay, hope you like my readers. Forgot to switch back into my sunglasses. Because it's bright in here. Hurts my eyes. Sorry I can't show you that. It looks dry. I'm going to scrape some of this away from the wall. So let me do this. I'm trying to get some of this away from the wall. Okay. I'm making pizzas. It's getting there. It just needs to form a dough ball. You know, you don't really want it sticky. You just want it in a ball, but you don't want it dry either. So once it starts clumping together in the mixer and forms a ball, then we'll go forward. It's starting to look good though. I hope I'm not yelling. I'm new to the lavalier mic, so I'm not sure if it's picking up the noise of the mixer or not. So I'm speaking louder because the mixer is loud. I don't want it drowning out my voice, but it may only be picking up my voice and not picking up that. I don't know. Again, I'm new to this. Guess we'll find out. We'll find out in post-production. Right now I'm recording on 3 cameras. I've got the Canon HD camera. This is the camcorder, front and center. And that's recording at, I think, it's an old camera, so it's probably 1080p, I would assume, but I'm not 100%. I just know it's HD. It was one of the first HD cameras that came out way back when. None of these are 4K, I don't believe. And I've got this camera right here, which is the Samsung Note 8. That one does pretty good, and I'm actually using the a gimbal. It's a DJI gimbal that the phone's sitting on, and I could set it to track my face and stuff like that, but I just put it up there. And then above my head here, I have the GoPro Hero 4 Silver Edition, and that one is recording at 1080p. 1080p, 60 frames per second, 1080p, 60 frames per second. Wow, that's starting to look good. I think that's actually looking right where it needs to be. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to need to add anything to that. Okay, so that's finishing up. I'm going to go ahead and move this. I'm going to add some oil. Which, again, you only need a little bit. So this just so don't stick. And it doesn't matter if my hands aren't clean, but this dough's me baking at, geez, 500 degrees, 550. Nothing will live through that. Okay, so I've got that pretty well greased. Now I'm going to also grease the top of the dough itself. I'm thinking that's perfect. Let's check it. Let's check it. Okay. All right. Yeah, it doesn't feel too dry. It might be a little. It might be a little dry. It's not too sticky. It's in two pieces. I'm gonna kind of ball it a little bit. Okay. Now I've got that balled pretty good. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is actually I probably have enough in here to just coat this a little bit, lightly coat it. I'll keep some of that moisture in there. Let's do that. There we go. Okay. So, you know, that's my dough. It's not the prettiest, but I'm new at it. So that's done. That's how I'm going to leave it. So now I'm going to cover it with a damp towel. Let me wash my hands. Okay, now I'm going to dampen my towel. Squeeze as much water as I can out of it. Okay. So I have my damp towel. I'm just gonna cover it up. Just like that. I'm gonna let that sit until it doubles in size. How long does that take? Guess you're gonna have to watch to find out. That is very garlicky. That's gonna be delicious. Wow. That's good. Okay, folks, it's getting late. It's been about, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours, and it has not doubled in size. I did add more yeast to it because it wasn't rising. I think I killed it. I think my water was too hot. So it seems to be rising now, but it's rising very slow. So I'm going to check it maybe later tonight. And if it hasn't doubled in size, I might just make a new batch and use this for like breadsticks or pretzels or something. I'm going to give it a little more time, let this thing sit, and then check it again later. If it does expand more later, I might just go ahead and run with it. Otherwise, tomorrow morning I will just make a new batch. I'm going to do, it has risen a little bit. I don't know if I would call it doubled in size, but it has grown larger. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it into pieces and get it ready for tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon, whenever we're going to do the pizzas. And when I wake up in the morning, I'll decide whether or not I want to make a new batch of dough, because I can do this in one day. And I'll just do that one by hand and not do all the fancy, mixers or anything like that. But right now I'm going to go ahead and cut this up and get it ready for pizzas tomorrow. So as you see, I've got the dough here. All right. You can see the dough. All right, and I've got a pan over here, which what I'm going to do with this pan is I've got the oil. I'm going to go ahead and throw a little bit of oil on this thing. Just a little bit. Just enough. And I will use just a little bit of, I guess I could just use my fingers. I was trying to get my fingers all oily, but we'll just mix this around here. On this pan. That might be a little too much, but that's okay. Because I'll put a little bit of that onto the actual dough itself. So I'm going to leave that there off to the side. Wipe my hands off. Okay, and I've got the dough here. So I'm going to go ahead and get this dough out. It does feel pretty fluffy. So I'm feeling pretty good about it. I probably should have put just a little bit of, actually I'm not gonna, put any more flour down. I'm just gonna grab a knife here, if I can find one. There it is right here. Got my knife or whatever you want to use. I'm just gonna cut it. Just gonna break it up into some pieces here. We're probably gonna do, I guess, 4 pizzas out of this one. Okay, so I cut it up into 4 pieces. Okay, and I'm not really going to do much to this. I'm just going to fold it over. I think I'm going to do it 8 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so I did that. And the bottom here, I'm just going to pinch it together. All right, that's going to be 1. So that's one piece. So I'll put that on there. I'm going to do the same thing. Actually, this one I can probably cut again. That's pretty big. So let's cut this one in half. Okay, so we did that. So same thing. Fold it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So make it into a ball. Pinch the ends underneath like that. Okay. So you got your dough ball. Now these should keep rising. Okay. These should keep rising overnight, and they should be bigger tomorrow tomorrow morning I'll know. They should be big enough for, to make a dough ball. Okay, so we got that one. Pinch the bottom. It's pretty good. Nice little dough ball there. Okay. Be thin crust. I'm going to go ahead and cut this one too in half. There we go. So that should be it. I'm not going to cut any more. So we got these in place here. All right, ready? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Squinch the bottom. Okay. That yeast should still work overnight, building up carbon dioxide and making these bigger and expand. you know, give the bubbles that we're used to seeing in the pizzas when you cook them. We're looking for that. So again, fold it over 1, fold it over again 2, fold it over again 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and then pull all that stuff together. This one's a little different. Let's see if I can get, well, I'm gonna do this one a little more. This one a little different. Just want to get that little ball. See that ball flavor? Or not ball flavor, but you know what I mean. It's a little ball going. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'm going to shape it into a ball. Pinch the bottom off pretty good. Tuck it in there. See? Pretty. Now I've got those on there. Now I've got a little extra oil here. I don't know if you can see that. I'm just going to rub it. Actually, I'm going to flip it over and just rub these like that. I just want to get some oil on it so they don't stick anywhere, you know, because I'm going to put some shrink wrap on there, and I want to make sure that they don't stick. They can grow, but they're not going to stick. So that kind of makes it a little easier right there. And these things should grow overnight. And it's not very warm out today. I think it's supposed to be warm tomorrow. It's supposed to be in the 90s, but today it's pretty chilly out. So I don't think it's getting warm enough for this yeast to activate, and it's even cooler in the house. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wrap this up with shrink wrap, and I'm going to let this sit overnight, probably out here on the countertop. Wash my hands real quick. Yeah, this water's it's very hot. I think I killed the yeast. You're supposed to only let the yeast get to, the max is 110 degrees. Otherwise it'll kill the yeast, and that probably killed the yeast off. So I added, basically after a couple hours, I added a new batch of yeast into it and kneaded it up, and this is what I wound up with. Okay, so there it is. We're gonna have 6 pizzas tomorrow, it looks like. We'll let this sit overnight. We're gonna take the cling wrap, I call it shrink wrap, but it's still the same thing. Just gonna throw this over top of here. All right. I don't want to make it too tight. I want these things to grow a little bit. I just want to kind of cover it up with them, you know, loosely. Another over here. Doesn't have to be pretty. You just have to cover it. Cover your area. That's it. So I think that's good enough right there. So I think I'm going to leave this out so it's warm. Typically you would throw this in the refrigerator and overnight, and then take it out a couple hours before you're going to cook it so it can get back to room temperature. But these need a little more rising, and it's going to get cold enough in here tonight to where it's almost like refrigeration. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave it out because I need it to rise a little more. And what I'll do is I'll get up early in the morning, I'll come out here and look at it. If it's still the same size, then I'll just make a new batch real quick and we'll go from there. Otherwise, if it does rise the way it's supposed to rise, we'll leave it, we'll run with it, and we should have some nice pizzas. Welcome back. It's day 2, early in the morning. The dough rose last night, which is a good thing. Still not as much as I thought it would. So just to be on the safe side, I went ahead and whipped up a new batch. The only thing I did different was I used a different yeast. I didn't use the pizza yeast. I used a regular active yeast, fast-acting yeast. And then I mixed it by hand instead of the mixer. I don't know if that made it too tough. It's why it's having such a hard time rising. I mean, it's still soft. I mean, if you look down here, it's still, I mean, it's softer. I mean, this one's really soft right there. So, it's still usable. We'll probably make a couple with this batch. 1 or 2, because I want to taste it, and then I might save some for like breadsticks or something. So this is the batch I made this morning. Just finished it, and it's already starting to rise. So I think we're gonna be good. I think I just over mixed it with the mixer. The mixer is great for, and I'm just spitballing here. I'm thinking, it's great for making pretzels and other types of dough, bread, of course. But as far as pizza dough goes, I'd probably just overmix it. That's just what I'm thinking. It's just a guess. I don't know. I'm not a professional. I'm not Gordon Ramsay. But these pizzas are still going to be good. And we're still going to cook them on the Akorn Grill. And they're going to be delicious. And you'll see what I'm talking about. We're going to have a couple different types of pizza. Susan likes the white pizzas. So she's going to probably just have white sauce, mushrooms, and cheese. That's her favorite pizza. And then, of course, we'll have the traditional types of pizza with the sauce, the red sauce, and then pepperoni sausage and stuff like that. Probably won't get too crazy with it today, but once I get this dough right here back, once this dough right here is risen, we will cut it, and we'll do the same thing that we did with this dough right here. We'll cut it into pieces, and we'll knead it one more time. Not knead it, but we'll shape it. We will barely shape it. The 8 folds, and that's pretty much all you need to do. And then let it rise a second time. So once this doubles in size, which it looks like it's going pretty quick, it might only take a couple hours, just based on the 20 minutes it's been sitting there. So we'll see. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. It was a lot of setup for just a few minutes of recording. I got a big light over here to balance out the sun from this side. My party lights aren't on. Alexa, turn on the party lights. I don't know what's going on with her. Okay, now I got you probably can't see them, but party lights are now on. That's a lot of setup. I've got 3 cameras I had to set up. You probably can't see this one, but I have an overhead camera right here, which is the GoPro. You can see me. And then there's a ring light up there to light the top of my head. And then I've got a cell phone over here on a gimbal to shoot this way, which isn't the ideal thing. Really I should be facing this way. But my bar doesn't allow me to do that, and I don't want you to see my shitty kitchen. So this is the setup we're using today. All right, folks, we're back. The dough has risen. Okay, so as you can see, this has risen nicely. What I'm going to do is cut it up into pieces. Now that rose a lot better than the stuff I had yesterday. Again, yesterday I was using a pizza yeast, so I think it was. I think it might be just the yeast I was using. So the crust for that batch might be a little thicker and denser possibly, where this will be a lot, probably lighter, I would say. I'm just guessing here, folks. I mean, I'm not a professional by any means, stretch of the imagination, whatever. But I'm gonna grease this pan here real quick, and that's just to keep the dough from sticking, because I'm gonna let it rise again. Okay. So the differences between the two batches are the yeast. This yeast is just a regular fast-acting yeast, a bread yeast, and instead of pre-mixing it in water, here, let me show you a close-up of that. See? It's kind of what we want in there. You can see that. So it rose a lot more. I don't know if it was the technique. It could have been the technique with the mixer that changed the outcome of this dough here. Okay, where it's not as fluffy and big as I'd like it. It could have been me using the mixer. It could have been the yeast, the way I mixed the yeast up in advance. It could have been the water temperature of that. I don't know. If you know the answer to that, put it down in the comments. I would really like to know if you have any experience with that sort of thing. Let me keep this out of the way. And a lot of times people will put a little bit of flour on their cutting board to keep it from sticking. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to cut it. See, there we go. Yeah, that's really light and fluffy. I really like the way this dough feels. Yeah, let me leave it like that for a minute. I'm gonna do the folds again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Pinch the ends. Perfect ball. Okay. This might be a little too big. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and we might want some big pizzas. We'll see how this goes. We'll see how much it rises. We're only gonna do. I'm thinking 4 pizzas out of this one. Okay. So. Roll it. All right. Up the brow. It's not hard work, folks. It's just hot outside. It's supposed to be in the 90s today here in Fairfield, Ohio. And there you have it. Okay, I'm going to take my oil here, put it on my hands. There's not very much left, almost out. Well, I got just enough. I'm probably do this. Just don't want the shrink wrap, the cling wrap to. I don't want the cling wrap to cling to it. Or the sticky wrap to stick to it. All right, get this oil off my hands. Dry the hands. At the base. Hit the mic, make the noise go all crazy. Okay, there it is. Perfect. right, now we're gonna let this sit until it's time to actually cook the pizzas. So it's gonna sit in here until we're ready to eat. I probably will let it sit at least a couple of hours. It may not take that long. The dough rose really quickly, and I think it's because of the warmness outside. It's very warm out here. If you're in a house in the AC, it's probably going to take a little longer to rise. Again, folks, I'm just telling you what I think I know. It may or may not be accurate. I make no promises. Okay, there it is. We'll let that sit. So we got two batches here. We got 6 small pizzas or breadsticks, whichever I decide to do with this batch here. We'll keep an eye on this and see how big it gets. I'm hoping it's going to be bigger than any of these here. It should rise that second time and be really, really big. So we'll see. So stay tuned. Okay, folks. As you can see here, the dough has risen. It's doubled in size. It is now larger than this section over here. Look at that. Look at the different size. Same amount of flour. I did spread that into 6, but if you remember when I put them on the pan, they were 4 small balls. Now they're huge. But now now I'm going to get the grill going. Okay, folks, here's our setup. We've got the King Grills. It's by Char Griller Akorn Grill. Okay, and as you see, it is shaped like the green egg, except it's not ceramic. So we'll go over here and we're going to open it up. Okay. This knob right here. And then all the way up. See right there, let some air go through. We've got our pizza peel going right here. That's the pizza peel. Then our pizza screens, which I'll throw in a fire to, 1, sanitize, and to burn off anything remaining from other cooks. So we'll do that. We'll take this off. Sit that down right there for a minute. Throw some more coal in here. If you want to take a look inside here and see what setup it is. You can use these grills for anything. Smoking, grilling. I like to use these little tumbleweed things. You get them at your local grocer, most likely. Stick one down in there a little bit. Shove it down in there. Some coals around it. Just like that. Pack it a little bit. I'll knock all that stuff down later, but it's going to create a little house for it. It's going to be a happy fire. That's not going to go in the deal. So we got to get this temperature up between 500 and 550. I think if you looked at the directions, it says 500 on here, which seems to work out for me pretty good. So I think the last time we did it was at 500. Some recipes call for 550 or higher. I like to stay around the 500 degree mark, and it usually takes about 5 minutes per pizza. So we're gonna let this go. We're gonna let it heat up a little bit. It's gonna take a little while. We gotta burn all this stuff off this grate, and then on the pizza screens, we're gonna burn all that stuff off and get that sanitized as well. And then we'll start the assembly process for each pizza. And we have different ingredients. You're gonna have your red sauce, your whatever you want on your pizza. If you want sausage, pepperoni, we like it pretty basic here, so you'll see what we're doing there already. And then I also have a pizza stone that I'll put on here. And when I get to that process, I'll show you. So I'll be right back. All right, the grill's going pretty good. We are going to stir this up a little bit. I'm going to flatten it out. Okay, we're going to take this nasty, heavy grate. We're going to put that on there. We got the grate on. We got to burn that stuff off there. We're going to let this heat up. I'll shut the lid, let it burn off more. Then I'm going to throw these pizza screens on there. I call them pizza screens. I don't know what the correct term is for them, but that's what they are to me. So we're getting there. We're getting close. It's almost time. I'm going to point out down here, I still have this all the way open. This is the vent down here at the bottom. I still got that all the way open. And I'll leave it that way. We've got to get this thing up to 500 degrees. When I do, I'm going to leave it open for a little while longer. Then I'm going to shut the lid and let it heat up. And then I'll open the top. So when I shut this, I'm going to open the top about like that for now. We'll let this thing heat up, but I'm going to, then I'll shut that to, because once you hit the 500, you want to keep it at 500, so you have to tune it down a little bit. I would shut at least this bottom one down here halfway, but when we get there, I'll show you. Okay, we're going to check the grill out. Looks like we are at 400 degrees. Okay, so what I've got my setup here, I'm going to bring out another table with all the ingredients and stuff to make these pizzas. But you can see right here I've got the cutting board, which of course we're not going to cut anything, but we're going to throw some flour on that because that's where we're going to turn the dough into, the pizza. We're going to turn it into the pizza shape. So we'll do that on there, and then I also add some cornmeal to it, and it gives it that. I don't know if you've had. There's some pizza places out there that have like a cornmeal on the bottom of them. I don't know if you've had that, but it adds an additional flavor to the pizzas, and I just like it, so we're going to do that as well. So, and then we've got these in here cleaning. Now I probably won't take these out until it gets up to temperature. Woo! Look at all that. So we're burning that stuff off of there. You can see them smoking. So when that stops smoking, we're close to it. It's gonna be ready. And those are aluminum, folks, so those will cool off really quick. So once I take them off, they'll cool off, and then you'll be able to handle them. And after we shape, I'll show it to you. But after we shape our pizza on this, we'll throw it onto one of those, put our toppings on it, and then put it in the oven. Starting to speak Scursive here. The name of the show. A couple Rum Runners already. So you can see it's there's a look at that fire. We have fire. So we're cooking that stuff off of there. That's the whole point of it right there. Cooking that stuff off. I'm trying to clean the grates. It's time. It's one of the maintenance things that I do here for this stuff. So I'll go ahead and shut that lid here. I don't want it to get too hot, but here we go. All right, so I shut the lid. Now I'm gonna close this. Well, that didn't move, but I'm gonna close this a little bit because I'll close it about halfway. All right, because we're at 400. I don't want it to get out of control. If it gets up there to 600, it's gonna take a long time to cool it down on these grills. So, you want to just kind of. If it starts dropping, then I'll open it back up. But it looked like it was pretty good, so I'm gonna turn that down to about right there. You can kind of see that. And look, it already spiked up to 450 that quick. Did you see that? So let's turn this down just a little bit more, another half. So that's about a quarter of where I had it before. So, because it is creeping up quick to 500, folks. So we are going to have to let this thing cool down just a little bit. But we're baking all that stuff out of there, so we have time. Okay, folks, we got the screens in there heating up, but look at this temperature on the grill. It's like 600 degrees. That is way too hot for pizza. So I've turned down the top. You can see right there. I did this a little while ago. And I've got this down. Look at that. Barely open. That's almost where I have it at smoking temperature. So now I gotta wait for this temperature to go down. The smoke has almost stopped, so these screens might be, they might be okay. Yeah, that looks like that. Yeah, there's a lot of ash there. So I might go ahead and take those off. We'll be good. Yeah, that looks good. So we'll give it a few minutes. Let this heat cool down. Sometimes this gets away from you. The biggest thing about these grills is tuning in the temperature. Once you have the temperature tuned in, you can cook anything. Some of the times when I'm cooking brisket or slow smoking something, you got to do it slowly. You got to bring the temperature up slowly, because a lot of times it takes longer to get the temperature to go down. So if you do it slowly, bringing it up, it takes less time than if it goes over to bring it back down. So you can see again, 550 going up to 600. We're gonna have to let this thing cool off a little bit. I think where we've got it, that's going to be good. It shouldn't take too much longer. Then we'll get this road on the show. Yeah, Scursive. All right, we're just under 500, so we got the temperature down. It's going back up. I've got the top set at this, and the bottom set at that. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that? We got a hound dog in the back. Alright folks, we're about to do this. All I gotta do is put some flour and some cornmeal on this little thing right here, and we are going to make some pizzas. You like your pool? You go swimming? Alright folks, here we go. We're about to cook some pizzas. I got my cutting board here. I'm going to throw a little bit of flour on here, mix it up. Just a little bit, doesn't take much. Okay. And then I like a little bit of cornmeal. Not everybody does this, but I like cornmeal. It helps it slide around a little better. So I'm gonna, I like little ball bearings for your pizza. They stick to the bottom and give it that little extra crunchy taste. Okay, can you see the dough? Mm-hmm. All right, we're gonna take one of these. This is the dough I made this morning. Okay, look how light. Oh my gosh, that's so light and fluffy. Man, look. I mean, it's very light. And this is what you do. Come in here, take a shot of it. Okay, and basically all we're gonna do is we're gonna shape this into a pizza. But first, you gotta get some of the air bubbles out. Otherwise, this thing will be bubbly everywhere. And bubbles aren't bad. Some people love bubbles. So we're gonna get some of the bubbles out of it. We're gonna stretch it a little bit. Get it. You just want to get it bigger. I'm not gonna toss it in the air or anything like that. I'm not gonna do any of that stuff. I'm not trying to be fancy here. But I am gonna stretch it. And you want to start off with the edges. Just stretch the edges a little bit. Get a hole, pinch it together. It doesn't have to be perfectly round, folks. We just going for thin. Something's going to hold your sauce. There's another hole. Pinch it together. Get the thick parts out. Another hole. Pinch all that together. Making the hole bigger. All right. Here we go. So these, even though the dough looks big, there's a big hole I'm going to have to fill in there later. Let's try to get these, just try to stretch it out as much as you can to fit the plate. And this might be a couple of takes, but this is the first pizza. So we might have to do a second pizza. I have to flip this over. Close it up, close it up, close it up. Again, folks, these are homemade pizzas. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be pretty. But it is going to be delicious. That I can promise. Okay. So that's round-ish. Number one, roundish. Alright, we're going to take this dough and we're going to put it on our screen. So put it on your screen. Pinch your holes together. This is going to be a bad video. These holes. I'm doing a horrible job with this. Alright, we're going to have to leave this one the way it is. Okay, maybe that other old dough will be better. But this is what we're going to have for this one. Alright, and I'm going to take a bit of sauce here. Whatever pizza sauce you like. This is one of my favorites. So this is what I grew up on. So you just kind of work yourself in a circle. Work it close to the edges. You know, I'm a light sauce person, so I don't like a lot of sauce. You know, when I call up to my pizza place, I ask for light sauce. But do whatever feels good to you. It's like happy painting. Isn't that beautiful, people? We're all happy. Pizza's happy, I'm happy, you're happy, we're all happy. We've all been drinking a little bit. We're speaking Scursive. Put your toppings on. This is gonna be we're just gonna do a simple pizza for this one. It's the sausage. And we got some pepperoni here. See that? Missed it. It's a little warm out here, folks. Can you see the toppings? Give you that overhead view or a top view of this. Pepperoni. Maybe I should have done the pepperoni first. I think if I was at one of the major chains, I would have done the pepperoni first, then the sausage. Okay, now, this is going to be a sausage pepperoni pizza. Now I'm going to use the mozzarella. Okay, just want to sprinkle some mozzarella on there. Okay. Whatever, you like extra cheese. You know, you don't need as much as you think you need. You really need less than you think you need. But what you also need on top of mozzarella is provolone. Provolone, mozzarella is a dried cheese, provolone is more of the creamy cheese. So you want at least a little bit of provolone on your pizza. So what I like to do is break it up. This is a softer cheese, it's not as dry, but in most pizza joints they'll shred this up and mix it with their mozzarella. Because you can't do this just by itself because it's so sticky. Mozzarella is a drier cheese that kind of bounces out itself. So there you go. So now that's the pizza. Alright, we're gonna... Maybe that other pizza dough is where we need to be, so we'll see. We'll do the next one that way, maybe. See those holes there? We gotta get rid of those. Maybe we're gonna have a different shaped pizza here, folks. I don't want to have too many thin spots here. Maybe we'll do like a oval this time. Working a pizza joint one time, you think you know it all. Okay, sauce on it. You know what we forgot to do since we're sitting there doing all this stuff? We forgot that there's a pizza already on and it's probably burning right now. Nope, we're good. Need to check. Alright, Rod. There's your sauce base. Now go ahead and put your toppings on there.
Alright. The sausage. The salsaga, if you will. It's going all over the place. Dogs food forever. That's enough for sure. Alright. The pepperoni. Couple more. We gotta get plenty of protein. Alright. Then you got cheese.
So we'll do some mozzarella.
Mozzarella. Keep it simple. Meat and mozzarella.
Do you want any onions or mushrooms?
No, that'll be fine. Meat and mozzarella.
We got a whole other bag of cheese too. So
Very good.
you can be generous if you want. It's up to you.
Feel like we will make it work with this. Perfect, perfect.
And you got to throw some provolone on there too, because all pizzas have provolone. It's a mixture. Usually, it's a mixture of I think it's 75% mozzarella, 25% provolone. You know, in pizza shops. Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments.
I think we got a good mixture there.
All right. Awesome. Awesome sauce.
It's awesome sauce.
Look at that, folks. That's a pretty pizza. And you just get your peel underneath there. And you know, actually you could probably just do the regular. If you want to do it that way too, and you can put it on your plate. Then you can put your, you know, if you want to put some other seasonings on it, at this time you can. You're going to cut it. This is the way I'm doing it. So there, that one's ready. That one's ready to go. I'm going to take this other screen. We have a dog barking.
I'm trying to climb the tree.
Hey! So I'm going to set this down here for now, and we're going to get our next pizza going. And then while this is cooking, we'll start another pizza, which will be Susan's. All right. Here. Check this up. Now we're ready to go. Now we're going to get this ready. We'll start another pizza. You know when you're on.
I'm on.
All right, this is the pizza that I just put on. That was from the dough that I made last night. It looks pretty darn good, doesn't it? Let me see if I can get this off here with this peel. There we go. Throw it onto there. Look at that. Is that not a perfect looking pizza? Look at the crust on that. I think that might be. I think maybe I was wrong with the crust option. I think it comes down to flavor. I mean, what do you like best? What kind of crust do you like best? You like this crust better, or the light and fluffy crust? I think that's where it comes down to. So I would say try them both. Try the pizza yeast and then try the regular yeast. See what you come up with. All right, Susan's going to try her pizza.
My calzone.
Her calzone.
My flub up.
Well, it all goes down the same way. It's probably delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Is the bread good?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Want to try it?
Sure. Oh yeah. I'm glad you made the mushrooms. Those mushrooms in the can were nasty.
Mm-hmm.
Susan sauteed some
Fresh
baby.
mushrooms.
She sauteed some baby bellas, portobellas, and they have just a better flavor. She first bought the jar. Was it the can kind or the jar kind? It was kind. What's usually the can kind?
Kong Kong.
Can. Usually the can is Scursive, people. We've been drinking all day.
You want to try it?
Sure.
Well, you have a fork. Or just,
But you know,
try
the can kind of mushrooms she had
It
were
doesn't have any
disgusting.
stuffing in it, does it?
I mean, really, there's no flavor in it. So now it's the baby portobellos that she sauteed, and I'll tell you what, that is delicious.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's very flavorful.
Mushroom and cheese, that's where it's at.
Even though I messed up, it's good.
Yeah, and it's basically it's just Alfredo sauce, mushrooms, and cheese. It's that simple, and the dough. Very good. Now she's going to make another pizza, and
It's the right way.
well, I don't think there is any right way, wrong way. There's a
I messed
there's
up.
just a, you know what, but the mess up was delicious. So you know, that's how new creations are invented sometimes. That's silly putty. Silly putty was supposed to be cutting edge stuff, and now it's a kid's toy because it was actually a flop. It didn't do what it was intended to do.
That was amazing.
That is delicious. I really, folks, I don't think if you make a pizza on a grill like this, you can't go wrong. It is delicious. It's gonna be better than what you can get at any pizza joint, in my opinion. Now it's up to you to go try this and leave it in the comments. If you try this, leave it in the comments and let me know how your pizza turned out. Did you like it better, or would you rather just order something from Donato's or Domino's or Pizza Hut
Or wherever.
or La Rosa's? And just for the record, well, I did use La Rosa's sauce for mine, but you can use any pizza sauce you want. Did I take that pizza off the grill, or is it still on there?
You took it off.
Okay, good. It's still too hot. It's like $600. We gotta wait until it gets down to 500
Degrees?
degrees.
Hi, I'm Susan, and you're watching Scursive.